Hi everybody, welcome to Essential Yoga. This is the August offering, and this is about balance and who doesn't need a little more balance in our lives. And I'm not thinking so much in the yoga sense of physical balance, although we're going to work through that, but just creating balance in our bodies and in our life. And I'm super excited for the essential oils that we're going to use. And these are a combination of 8 oils in a program called Aromatouch Technique. And it's designed to support all of the body systems that we have to sort of bring our bodies back to harmony. And what has happened in this Essential Yoga program is that we've taken those 8 oils that are in that Aromatouch Technique and included them in a yoga practice. So I'm really excited to share with you about the 8 oils. And we're going to go through what oils you're going to need so that you can have those handy if you haven't already got that information. You're going to need On Guard in your diffuser or to spray around your room, or we can do it top aromatically in our hands. So you're going to need that one first. You're going to need peppermint and wild orange, and that's going to be something with the option to take internally in water. And only using quality pure oils is really important when we think about taking essential oils internally. So if you have purchased your essential oils at a store, it is highly likely, most probable, they are not safe for internal use. So if you need them that are safe for internal use, feel free to reach out to me, and I'm happy to send you some samples. You will need frankincense, which is the king of all oils. We'll talk a little bit more about frankincense as we get through the practice. You'll need a blend called Balance, and Balance is probably one of my most common used oils in my home. I put it right directly on my shoulders and my chest every single morning in my lotion, and it's a blend of trees and resins, and it's just beautiful. It's like a walk through the forest. So we're going to talk about that one as we get to and in the practice. You'll need a blend called Deep Blue, which is primarily for physical pain, but we're going to talk about it on an emotional level today. And then you'll need a blend that is another one of my common ones in my home called Aromatouch. And this is a blend that was designed to support massage. So it increases circulation, it helps get into those deep tissues that we have. But it also has some really amazing emotional benefits too. So what's neat about this program, as we go through it, I'll be guiding you through a yoga practice and sharing with you throughout the practice the emotional side of the oils as well as the physical side, and why I chose them in the order in which I did and why I chose them in this practice. So as the way that I love to teach yoga is very intuitive and very sensation based, so I will not be practicing. You will not have to worry about watching me. I will guide you through it. This practice today is going to be slower paced. And if you think about how fast most everybody's lives are, or how fast our minds are, or how fast we're constantly bringing in information into our brains, what we need is to slow down. And so today's practice will be much slower, much more deliberate, much quieter in the sense that it's introspect qualities about it. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to find a quiet space where you're unlikely to get interrupted. So making sure that the dog, if the dog is disruptive during practice, let him stay on the outside of the door. If he just lays down beside you, that's a perfect companion for your practice. Making sure that if you have children, that they know that for the next 45 minutes to an hour, this is your time. Turning off your phone. That's a really great boundary to have. It's just putting it on silent or turning it completely off so you're not even tempted to check it while you're on your mat. And then set the intention for yourself just to be open. Open is such a beautiful intention to have when we come to a yoga practice, to not get caught up in expectations or even hopeful that this will happen or this will happen, but just to be open. My very yoga teacher told me, when you come to a yoga mat, you come open-minded, you come empty belly, and you come barefoot. So go ahead and find yourself in a comfortable place on your mat. or in a chair. Remember, all of my classes can be done from a chair. If there's a posture that comes up that is not necessarily feasible for your body for whatever reason, you can make a modification in the chair, mostly by listening to your own body and offering it what it wants. But for most of us, we're going to be on the mat today. I want you to start on your backs. So go ahead and make your way to your back, and then make sure that you have your oils nearby. Remember, On Guard should be in your diffuser right now, or you can put a couple drops in your hand. Put your hands, just a couple drops, 1 or 2 drops. You put that in your hand, you rub your hands together, and you breathe. Okay, so take a couple breaths like that, or have it going in your diffuser, and then make your way to your back. I'm going to turn off my camera. We're going to continue on together just like that. Perfect. So go ahead and get comfortable on your mat. Start to settle in, maybe wiggle your hips just a little bit. I'm going to sink down. And then start to pay attention to letting the tension in your body leave. Maybe even bringing your awareness to your jaw and how you tend to tighten up there, or even the space between your eyes tends to get creased. So go ahead and just pay attention to smoothing out that crease and making space. Start to pay attention to the breath as it becomes quieter, as we start to settle into our practice. In today's workshop, today's class, the 8 oils and blends that we're going to go through have been designed to create optimal health in all of your body systems. When we pair these oils with a slower paced practice, you'll begin to notice how beautifully the aromas weave together as they're applied and as your body warms. So we'll address stress, we'll address the immune system, the inflammatory response in the body, the balance of the nervous system, all of these really important things that are constantly going in our life. And as a result, we will create a deep sense of balance. And so while we come to the practice open, we also come without expectations. As we begin our practice today, I invite you to pay close attention to your breathing. And the minute it starts to become quicker and more fast-paced, see if you can lengthen the breath, because that in itself creates a response in the body to be calm. It actually lowers our cortisol. And we know that cortisol plays a key role in some of the big diseases that we want to avoid in our life. So the less stress hormone we have going through our body, the more likely we are to stay healthy long term. So take just a moment or two to start to get familiar with the sound of your breath, just moving in and out of your body, the way that it feels against your upper lip, how it feels as the belly expands. And just pay attention there to that feeling as the breath just moves in and out of the body. Feel the whisper of air as it passes over the top lip. So in the On Guard blend, the blend that you began with or that's in your diffuser, we have cinnamon and clove, wild orange, rosemary, and eucalyptus, this powerhouse of 5 essential oils combined together in a synergistic way. This blend helps our immune function. It doesn't necessarily make your immune system stronger. It makes your immune system do what it needs to do. So it gives your body the tools naturally on the cellular level to help fight off infections and viruses and bacteria. And it just goes deep into the cells of our body. So when we apply essential oils topically, after about 20 minutes, every single cell in our body has had a touch of that essential oil. Amazing, yeah? When we use oils aromatically, it's about 20 seconds that we get that emotional response in the brain. So this one gives our body's ability to fight off bacteria and viruses and pathogens a little bit of boost here. It helps to remember that when we use On Guard, this one is energizing and uplifting. It's cleansing for our skin as it promotes healthy circulation in the body. It's great for topical use. It's great to clean surfaces in your home. This one is a great one to diffuse year-round, but because of the combination of the cinnamon and the clove and the orange, you'll notice that it immediately brings you back into the season of fall. Some people say it smells like Christmas. I think it smells like fall. Emotionally, this oil is the oil of protection. So this one helps us to fight off energy parasites, those things that drain us, the worries, the constant pull out of alignment of truth, or feeling as though we're feeling sucked dry by people. This one strengthens our inner self, and it helps us to live in integrity. It gives us a little bit of strength there. As when we set our own boundaries and we say yes to ourselves, it creates this personal space that cannot easily be violated by others. It gives us the strength to say no and to cut ties with some of those unhealthy relationships. I chose it today to support and fortify us as we come back to claiming our place in the world, not getting sucked into the dramas of the world and the tragedies of the world, but instead claiming our own big place in the world. Start to bring your knees into your chest here. And you're going to feel the spine connect to your mat in maybe a different way. And if you're on carpeting, you feel a little soft space underneath you. If you're on a hard floor, just go ahead and feel that sensation. And nearby to you, hopefully you have peppermint and orange. It's a nice, beautiful blend of oils used in my home probably the most often. It's invigorating, happy, just so wonderful. Go ahead and tee out your arms and drop your knees over to the left. We're going to take an immediate twist here. As we come to the twist, I'm going to guide you a little bit through peppermint and orange. And then when we make our way up to seat, go ahead and put a couple drops in your water, but go ahead and stay in the twist for now. So peppermint is just a go-to for me in my house. This one supports healthy respiratory function. Physically, it's great at lowering our body's temperature, so an excellent choice in the hot summer. It can help with fevers of any age, children, babies, adults. It can help lower our body's temperature temporarily, so just giving a little relief from some of the heat that builds up. This one can help with occasional upset stomach, indigestion, even colic in a newborn. It's also a great breath freshener. I keep a bottle in my bathroom and just pop a drop in under my tongue throughout the day. And when I do that, it's very stimulating to my mind. It sort of wakes me up, makes me more aware. Emotionally, peppermint's known as the oil of the buoyant heart. And this one lifts our spirits and gives our souls just a little bit of break here. We tend to carry a lot inside of us. And so peppermint allows us to have a little bit buoyancy in our heart, helps us feel that we can be free to move on from things and avoid focusing just on our difficulties. I love that peppermint helps us to see that we can stomach any concern. We can digest, if you will, new ideas. We can take on new impressions of things, that we're not just so closed in our own way that we're not able to see the potential in new things. This one is wonderful if you need some insight or inspiration. And I picked it today as an internal aspect to our practice. Go ahead and bring your knees back up to center. Drop them to the right. I picked peppermint as it just helps us to open up at the beginning of the practice here. And our ability to find new experiences in life, to be open. So Just notice as you twist, the spine is creating sort of that ringed out action, similar to a towel. And twists are really, really powerful in doing that for us. So we want to hold a twist for a couple minutes if possible. And because this practice is much slower, we're going to stay longer in every pose and just sort of linger. Beautiful. Go ahead and come back to a flat spine. Keep your knees bent in towards your chest. Go ahead and lower your left foot to the mat. The knee will stay bent though. And your right leg will extend up towards the ceiling. Interlace your fingers behind your right hamstring like a basket. Just wove your fingers together. And then circle your ankle a few times and just feel that. So very often we forget about important joints in our body, like our ankles. Maybe wiggle your toes. And then point your toes and flex your feet. And start to feel that sensation. On the pointed side, you'll feel a stretch through the shin, and on the flexed side, your calf gets a stretch. And you'll take that about 3 or 4 times, and then eventually leave it flexed. So the heel is up, the toes are down towards the shin. And then with the strength of your arms, just gently guide your right leg towards your face, but not pull, not yank, not force. Remember, we're just easing into the practice, easing our bodies into a shape today. Along with peppermint for our internal option, we have wild orange, and wild orange is a powerful cleanser and it's purifying. So this one is great to use on your surface of your homes, but internally in our bodies. It's an excellent choice for protecting against some of the seasonal environmental threats that we have. It's super high in antioxidants, and it's therefore very, very supportive to the immune system. So something that we want to have in our bodies. This one is uplifting. It can be taken internally or applied topically, but either way, wild orange has this amazing capacity to also be very soothing for the digestive system. So it's an excellent choice for babies with upset stomach. Emotionally, wild orange is the oil of abundance, and it helps to reduce anxious feelings, which creates space for feelings of fullness. This one is calming to the emotions. It inspires creativity, a positive mood. It brings joy and peace and happiness and a touch of fun into your life. Just smelling wild orange out of the bottle is fun. Go ahead and lower your right foot to the mat. And the knee will stay bent, and you'll switch to the left leg. Interlace your fingers around the left leg like a basket. Start to circle your ankle, wiggle your toes here. And then you'll come to the point and the flex. We'll take a few of those and then eventually finish with a flex, and then start to guide your left leg in towards your heart. Wild orange also encourages creative thinking and a sense of fearlessness. I chose wild orange to be coupled with peppermint internally to awaken us to this approach of childlike wonder. As adults, we spend way too much time thinking, worrying, working, doing. We don't have enough playtime anymore. And so when we take the idea of bringing play into our practice, along with a willingness and an openness to be buoyant through our heart, some pretty magical things can happen. Go ahead and lower your left foot to the mat. Hug both knees in tight, and then cross at the ankle and just start to rock and roll. You're going to rock and roll in your spine. This action is incredibly invigorating for the spine. So this one can increase energy. Tuck your chin and just roll front to back and front to back and front to back. And then eventually you'll cross so much, rock so much with the ankles crossed that you'll actually roll over your knees. Make your way to all fours. If you need to do it a different way, that's fine too, but you'll eventually find yourself grounded through the shin, through the knee, through the tops of the feet, and through the hands in what we call a tabletop position. And we're gonna start to find some movement with our breath here. Even though today's practice will be slow, we wanna have a couple minutes of opportunity to connect our breath with our movements. So go ahead and push your heart forward, lift your nose, take a breath in, and then stay here for the exhales. We're gonna take 2 breaths here, and then we'll start to link it. You'll take a breath, lift your nose, And then push against the floor, round your spine, tuck your chin a whole bunch like a cat in the morning, stretching its back. Stay and breathe a couple times. Now we're going to start to link the breath. You're going to inhale, belly will drop, the heart will lift, the nose will rise. And when you exhale, press against the floor, hollow out the belly, puff up your back and tuck your chin. And then find your breath rhythm. You'll inhale, lift your nose. Exhale, round your spine. Find balance here in the breath. Just continue to flow back and forth. So this idea of balance here, if you think of two scales, just hearing the word balance, what aspects of your life are off balance? Do you work more than you play? Do you worry more than you laugh? Do you cry more than you smile? Where is your balance here? We can use this beautiful practice of breathing and moving at the same time to remind us to return to balance, equanimity. Take 3 more rounds just like that, just following your breath here. Perfect. So now come to a tabletop. Go ahead and tuck your toes and don't go anywhere yet. Sometimes when we know that we're headed towards something, we skip over an important part. Just by tucking our toes, we feel a stretch on the bottom side of our feet. We feel that. Now go ahead and inhale, and the hips go up and back like an upside down V shape. And then you're going to find movement right away. Bend a knee. Start to walk your dog, we call it. I like to have my legs really wide here. My feet are often even off the mat. They're so wide. And what I have found in my own personal practice, when my feet go wide, there is a lot of space that occurs in my low back and my sacrum. And from there, once my feet are set wide, then I pedal my feet, my hips can get some space and some shimmy happens. And it feels amazing. It may feel better for you to have your hips not so wide, so your feet would be hip distance. Beautiful. Take your eyes forward and just begin to walk your feet up until they get to the top. I shared with you maybe last week or the week before that sometimes we just want to jump to the top. And what I have found in my wisdom is that that is such a metaphor for life. We just want to get there really fast. We don't want to go through the process of getting there. We just want to be there. And just like, you know, traveling to a vacation, a blissful vacation of Hawaii, we can't just go from our home to Hawaii without doing some of the steps, like planning the travel, packing the bags, finding dog care, finding child care. There are steps we have to do in order to get to that bliss. So let yourself take as many steps to the top of your mat to remind you that those processes are important. We can't just always jump over them. Once you get into this forward fold, sink forward just a little bit into your toes and you'll feel a little bit off balance. That's okay. So we're going to work through a lot of balance today. And then shift back into your heels and feel what that feels like. So nice. And then find equality from the top of the foot to the back of the foot. Slide your hands to your shins, look forward, take a breath in. And now exhale, deepen your folds. See if you can hunker in just a little bit more. And try that one more time. You'll take what we call a halfway lift. And then a deep fold. When you come up, go as slow as you can, letting the arms dangle, the head dangle. Come up really slow, stacking your bone on bone on bone on bone. When you get to the top, take a big exhale. As you reach for your balance essential oil blend, feel free to drop a drop of orange and peppermint into your water. Make sure it's a stainless steel vessel or a glass vessel, never plastic, as these essential oils are so potent. We want to avoid using plastic when we take them internally. It is fine to note that I do use plastic bottle in my shower to clean because I have slipped a glass bottle out of my hand one too many times. And so I do use a plastic bottle to have my shower spray. And I feel like that's fine if I'm cleaning my shower, if a little bit of the plastic kind of make adjustments. All right, so with the balance blend, I want you to take and put a couple drops into your hands. If you have a sample, it can be hard for it to drip out. So just tip the bottle over, tap the bottom of the bottle into your palm, and then tap about 3 or 4 times, and that's equivalent to a couple good drops of a full-size bottle. Balance is a blend of spruce, frankincense, blue tansy, hoe wood, and blue chamomile. This one, you're going to rub your hands together, cup your nose, take 3 deliberate breaths here. Bring yourself into the forest. And then with the excess on your hands after your 3rd breath, put it right on your heart, up your neck, so that you can continue to smell it throughout the practice. I'm going to start you off on a short half sun salutation, and we'll talk about balance as you move. Go ahead and extend your arms up to the sky. We call this extended mountain. I believe it is a powerful reminder of your own strength. The mountain represents a presence. So reach your arms higher than you might think you can. Feel yourself root down into your mat and feel your presence here. Beautiful. Continue to breathe just as you were when we were taking that vinyasa of cat and cow. So there's equanimity in the breath. When our arms go above our head, we tend to hold our breath. So make sure that the exhale is playing part of your practice here. Take another breath in. And then when you exhale, just float down over your bent-ish legs. So just come right back down to the fold. And then you'll take a breath in and come up halfway. And then you'll fold down again, maybe sandwich your body together even more than it had been. And then rebuild the spine slow. We're not going to come up with dynamic energy today. We're just going to come up like a flower. When you get to the top, let your shoulders fall as you exhale. And then you'll do it again. You'll reach high on your inhale, finding your strength. You will exhale and float down over your legs. Let your fingertips sweep the floor. When you inhale, bring your hands to your shins, look forward. When you exhale, hunker in even more, equal breath, equanimity. Inhale, roll your spine up slow. There is absolutely no rush here. When you exhale, lower your shoulders. Each step has purpose. Inhale, reach high to the sky. Exhale, float down over your legs. You will come up halfway, and then you will fold. Rebuild your spine. Listen to the rhythm of your breath. Is it equal? Lower your shoulders. Extend your arms, breathe. Continue to just follow your breath through this simple vinyasa, folding of halfway lifting, folding, rebuilding. We'll talk about balance. Balance was designed as a blend to help ground our emotions, ground our physical body, keep us centered and balanced with whatever challenges arise in our life. Each of us has a path, and we will all be faced with a challenge. And balance comes back to bringing us into our roots, helping us stay connected. This one soothes and relaxes our bodies, specifically our muscles and our joints. This one is great for the nervous system, helping our body to remain healthy and balanced. When we have less stress, we have less illness. It's that simple. This one is harmonizing. This one connects our mind and our body and our spirit together by calming some of our anxious feelings that build up in tension. And so this is a wonderful choice. And we know that frankincense in itself is known to support cellular health. So this is really important to have in our time right now. Emotionally, balance is the oil of groundedness. This one helps to calm us. It helps us to reconnect us and to settle into our roots. It's important, especially for those of us that spend a lot of time thinking and analyzing and speaking. This is really great to kind of pull us back into ourselves. It's good for those who just don't like to root themselves down. So if you are flitting from activity to activity, or you just seem to want to be restless in yourself, this essential oil blend works dynamically in the limbic brain to settle you down. This one helps us to stay present. It helps us to look both towards our long-term goals as well as our presence, and help us to grow slowly over time. I chose balance for today's class because I wanted to anchor and sort of ground us as our first more active part of our practice. This one is inviting you to be truly present today. So go ahead, and the next time you roll your spine up to stand, when you get up to the top and you lower your shoulders, go ahead and rub your hands again together. Essential oil is still topically on your skin. Go ahead and cup your nose again. Now that you know this oil, see if you can breathe in and feel yourself taking in the spruce and the blue tansy, the hoe wood and the blue chamomile and the frankincense. Feel your body connect into your roots. And then lower your hands, close your eyes if they're not closed. Come back to those image of the scale. Where in your life are you off balance? Could it be your eating habits? Do you eat too much? Do you eat not enough? Do you tend to do really well during the week, and then the weekends you kind of go crazy? Do you oversleep? Do you undersleep? Are you overactive or underactive? So we start to really look at ourselves when we think about optimal health. We look at all aspects of our life. Go ahead and grab your melaleuca or tea tree. It's commonly known as tea tree. So go ahead and grab your tea tree. I may have missed that in the initial, here's what you're going to need, but it is in your written document. So tea tree, this one smells unique. So go ahead and just smell it out of the bottle. And if you really love it, that's awesome. Take a couple drops, put it in your hand. And this one, if you do put it in your hand, go ahead and slide it onto your wrist, the inner part of your wrist, and just roll your wrists together as if you're rubbing in perfume. So the wrist is a pulse point. We'll talk a little bit about applying them topically at pulse points and why that's important. And just know that you can layer essential oils. So we're going to apply a lot of oils topically the remaining of the class, and that's perfect. In fact, it actually works better because they work better together. So go ahead and apply your wrists, rub your wrists together. And then take your arms up high, and you're going to actually take your right hand and grab your left wrist. You'll get long on your inhale and pulling your left arm high, and then hinge over to the right. Physically, melaleuca is a powerful cleaning oil. This one is used to purify and to cleanse not just our skin, but our insides of our body, cellular level again. It also protects us against environmental threats. It can be purifying and freshening for the air. So it's excellent to put in your diffuser if you want to clean the air. If you've been exposed to some germs or somebody in your home is ill, you want to make sure that the airborne germs are clean. Melaleuca or tea tree, it's commonly called, is a wonderful choice. Go ahead and bring your arms back up high. Grab your right wrist this time and pull it up first and then up and over to the left. Tea tree is wonderful for just minor skin irritations, cuts, scrapes, acne. This one can be used topically directly on the skin if there's some sort of irritant like an insect bite or just any sort of impurity in the skin. Tea tree is a great choice. Emotionally, this is how I love tea tree. Tea tree is wonderful at energetic boundaries. This one releases some of those codependent relationships, those parasitic relationships, the stuff that drains you. It helps you get rid of baggage. This one can help break negative ties. Bring your arms back up to center and then fold over your legs. Walk your feet in so that they're touching. And then bring your hands to your heart center. Bend your knees as if you're hovering your bum over a chair. So we're going to keep this a little bit more passive than a traditional chair pose, but the arms are active. This protects our back just a little bit. Remember, the overstressing that we do on our body can take a toll. So today's practice will be options for less, but still remaining active. Tea tree also helps to connect us to others in a more honorable and respectable way. This one helps us to have boundaries and to hold our boundaries and stand up for ourselves. And so you might be thinking, how emotionally does this have to do with my optimal health? Remember, we're not just these physical beings, we're also these beautiful soulful beings. And sometimes when we take on too much of other people's stuff, it can weigh us down. And when we feel weighed down emotionally, our response to stress is greater, which then leads us to be more prone to illness. So I chose tea tree today just to help us to remove ourselves from those inappropriate influences in our life, to remind us to be clean and to be cleansed and to have purity in the way that we think about ourselves and our actions, and to help prepare our experiences so that we're better matched to where we want to be in life. Maybe drop just a little bit more here. Just feel that, just drop just a little bit more. And then you're going to rise up really tall. Lower your arms down by your side. Go ahead and grab 2 more oils here. You're going to grab Deep Blue and Aroma Touch. Just keep them in your hands for a moment. Take a giant step back with your left foot. Make sure your right toes are facing forward. And then you're going to bring your arms lengthwise along your mat. It's called Warrior Two. So the arms are long. You're looking over your right hand. Your left leg is straight. Your right leg is bent. And one hand holds each oil. This is Warrior Two pose. And this is a very dynamic pose. And we're going to stay in this pose for anywhere from 10 to 15 breath cycles. Remember, the pace today is slow. You might find it to be uncomfortable because you're used to fast pace. So it's perfect to create balance and to create a sense of stillness in the body. So go ahead and hunker into the Warrior Two posture. Your eyes are going to be looking over your right hand. Maybe once you find yourself stable in the posture, you close your eyes. Let's talk about Deep Blue first. Deep Blue is the smaller bottle. If you have full-size bottles, it's a beautiful blend. It includes wintergreen, camphor, peppermint, blue tansy, blue chamomile, helichrysum, and osmanthus. So you'll see that there's a theme here. Blue tansy showed up in Balance Blend because it's a calming floral. We have blue chamomile in this one. Chamomile, I believe, returns again. And peppermint, which is cooling. So it's cooling to some of the overactivity in our mind and our body. And Deep Blue is used primarily for a healthy inflammatory response in the body, meaning pain. Inflammatory response is simply called pain. And so this one helps to support having a more healthy response to pain, which would mean less pain. This one is soothing for sore muscles and joints. This one supports healthy circulation. It gets those pain pockets, those clusters of muscle tension to be smoother and less prominent in our shoulders and in our back and in our hips and in our legs. And so it just creates space in the body. This is a wonderful tool to rub on our achy joints and our achy muscles. Deep Blue is the oil of surrendering pain emotionally. This one helps us to give strength to observe our pain, but to stay calm, cool, and collected as we face our pain. We will all have pain at one point or another in our lives. See if you can sink a little bit more into Warrior Two here. See if you can walk that edge of sensation and pain, and then breathe into the place of your body where you feel the most sensation. Deep Blue emotionally is transformative in looking at what lies beneath our outward expression of who we are and our pain. How much do we identify with the pain? Can we identify with less pain? This one helps us to see pain as a teacher. As we learn to let go of the resistance to the pain, it can sometimes dissipate. And I picked this one because I want to be able to help us look at the life messages that pain can often bring us. Beautiful. Go ahead and straighten your right leg. Keep your arms just like they are. Nice. So now we have this long legs, long arms. Let your left hand fall down your left leg. Reach your right arm up and over. So there is a ton of space on the right side of your body here. It's called Sky Archer or Reverse Triangle. So the Deep Blue blend is just so beautiful. Take just a few more breaths here. So we find the space here. We were in Warrior Two for a long time. Closing up the hips, and now we're letting the hip be open. Beautiful. And now tee out your arms again, long ways on your mat, and just pivot on your heels towards the long edge of your mat. Your arms will be at a T from the shoulder. You're holding onto an oil blend in each hand. And I do believe that there is something magical about when we sit with something first before we actually use it. We'll talk a little bit about that in a sec. Make sure that your feet are in alignment, so your toes and your heels are in one long line. Take a big breath in. And then hinge from your hips and just fold. Take a wide fold. We'll be here for a while. Your hands can find the mat, just sort of gently cupping your hands around the oil bottles. I do believe that when we take the time to not rush through something, our bodies respond to it better. And when we hold something with the intention, I think that it works better than just rushing through something. And so I wanted to come to the practice today and give yourself a chance to really hold the oils. Remember, everything that is matter is a vibration. And so the plants within each of these blends is a high vibration. And so we're setting the intention and allowing the vibration of the bottles of the oils to come into your body. And if that doesn't resonate with you, if it seems a little bit too wacky, that's okay. Just let it go. Just let it go. So now, while we're in this forward fold, I want you to think about shifting the weight into your toes and see how that changes the shape and the sensation of your legs just a tiny bit. And now sink back into your heels and stick your bum back maybe an inch or two. So you're going to feel a whole bunch of space here. We really get into the sensation of especially where the hamstring and the glutes attach here. And see if you can straighten your legs even more by pushing your bum back even more. And just feel what that feels like. Beautiful. And now bend your knees really soft. Start to slowly come up. Tee out your arms. Turn your left toes to the back of your mat. You might have to adjust your right leg. But you're in warrior two to the back now, which is looking over the left hand, and then the left knee is what's bent. So now you're looking at the other oil bottle in your hand, or maybe it's just closed around the bottle. And this blend is Aroma Touch. And Aroma Touch is a blend of basil, marjoram, lavender, peppermint, cypress, and grapefruit. This is one of my favorite aromas. I think it diffuses well. It smells like you're entering into a fancy spa when you have it in your diffuser. I'm going to use it topically today. This one is very relaxing and very calming. It's also another blend great for muscles and joints. I take this one with me when I get a massage, and I ask my massage guy to just put some drops down my spine. And then he rubs it into the muscle tissue around my spine, and it's incredible. This one promotes healthy circulation into the tissue. So when we apply it topically, the basil, particularly coupled with the cypress, helps increase circulation. So we're bringing some blood flow into the joints, into the muscles, helping break up some of that tissue. This one is known also to create a healthy response respiratory. So it helps us to breathe a little bit, and that's that peppermint in there. Emotionally, the oil of relaxation. Remember to sink a little bit deeper here. We're going to stay in this particular posture 10 to 15 breaths. So just keep breathing. I'll keep talking about Aroma Touch. This one is known as the oil of relaxation. It opens the heart and the mind. It's relaxing as it provides comfort in times of grief or sorrow. So if you have sadness in your life, it's wonderful to diffuse. It's wonderful to sleep with. If you're having a difficulty time letting go of something or processing something painful, this one slows down the body. And therefore, when we slow down the body, we slow down the mind, and it works the opposite way. When we slow down our mind, we tend to slow down our body. And when muscles release tension and we're actually able to slow down, we're able to reconnect with our heart. And when we do that, it allows us to move more into harmony within our body. And that's that connection here between the mind and the body. We calm down the mind, our body naturally feels better. When our body feels better, our mind feels better. I picked this one today just to bring harmony into our lives. Super important to find that balance. Go ahead and straighten your left leg. Left arm goes high this time. We create that long sky archer or reverse triangle shape. So we're feeling the length here. By coming to both sides of the body equally, we're creating balance in the body. We tend to often lean onto one leg more than the other, and so each side of the body gets the same postures with the same length. Beautiful. Now go ahead and tee out your arms again lengthwise along the long edge of your mat. Pivot and turn. Beautiful. Go ahead and take the two blends, open one up, place about 3 or 4 drops into the palm of your hand. Go ahead and take the other blend, place 3 or 4 drops. Rub those blends together. If you have pain in your back, slip up your shirt, apply it to your low back. If you have pain in your neck, apply it to your neck, your arms, your chest, underneath the jaw. If your knees hurt, apply it to your knees. Feel the cooling sensation here. Feel that and be deliberate as you apply it. Rub it in. Just let it come in. And talk a little bit about that. And then you can go ahead and set those 2 bottles aside. You're going to pivot on all 10 toes to the front of the mat. Step your left foot to meet your right. Maybe smell your hands, that beautiful aroma. I particularly love the basil and the marjoram from the Aroma Touch with the cooling of the wintergreen and the deep blue. I just think it's a beautiful combination. Any excess on your hands, you can apply to a different body part. And now go ahead and fold over your legs. Just let your body drape down. And when you get there, walk your feet just a little bit wider. And just let your arms dangle. Maybe you might grab an elbow with the opposite hand and just sort of twist or sway side to side, just really slowly and calmly, and just find sort of that rhythm as if you're rocking side to side. Just feel that. Feel the rhythm of just moving with a gentleness rather than a force. Beautiful. And continue to keep your knees nice and bent, but find stillness in your upper body. A forward fold. By nature, the head is below the heart, which means our nervous system gets like a bath. Our nervous system gets a cooling down. And if you applied that deep blue and Aroma Touch blend to your neck, you should be feeling a little bit of cooling sensation there. If you applied it underneath your shirt, you might feel warmth. So depending on where you put it in the body, if it's covered up with clothing, you might feel the warmth of some of those oils. Marjoram's a very warm oil. Wintergreen is a very warm oil, although it has an aspect to it that's cooling at the end note, if you will, and the peppermint is cooling. I'm going to stay in the fold just for a few more breaths. Or sometimes we just want to rush through things, just by allowing the forward fold. This is a beautiful posture to do in the evening because it quiets down the mind before you go to bed at night. It's a beautiful thing to come into a fold. Now go ahead and bend your knees so much that you come into a tiny ball. And from the ball, you will lower your bum to the mat. Bring the soles of your feet to touch. Let your knees open. Slide your hands onto your ankles and grab your lavender. Such a classic oil of calm. When we first learn about essential oils, We often learn most first about lavender. It's a very popular oil. It's very common. It's used in even laundry detergents. I'm not sure it's real lavender, but whatever. It's good. It's creating this awareness that plants do actually provide benefits to our mind and our body. So I'm all for it. I prefer to put lavender directly in my laundry or in my sheets, but whatever, it works. So go ahead and take your lavender, apply a couple drops into your hands. You might say, well, this doesn't really smell like the lavender you're used to. And oftentimes when we have lavender that is synthetically grown or synthetically developed in a laboratory as a lavender scent, it's going to be much sweeter than lavender in its natural state. So this might be a little bit earthier than lavender you're used to. So go ahead and rub your hands together. Again, layering the oils is beautiful. And these particular oils together work best together. And so we're just giving ourselves a lot of opportunity here. So go ahead and breathe in your lavender. You're still going to smell a little bit of that aroma touch and deep blue blend, the camphor, the wintergreen, the peppermint. So try to find the lavender. And then take the excess and run it along the inside of your ankle, inside of your instep, maybe onto the bottoms of your feet with your thumb. Give yourself a little foot massage here. And then after you feel like the oil is applied deliberately, maybe 5 or 6 swipes, rest your hands on top of your feet, tuck your elbows in and round yourself into like a turtle shell. Lavender is known for its calming and relaxation properties. It's wonderful for skin irritations. It's wonderful for irritations of people. It's, it's one I joke with that if you have a person that's irritating in your life, just smell some lavender. It's going to make it seem less irritating when you have to be around this person. But this one is really good at reducing tension in the body. And so when we think about relaxation, the other side of relaxation is tension. And so this one is soothing to the emotions, soothing to the spirit. This one is beautiful at balancing out our emotions and our nervous system. It's great for meditation. It's great to spray onto your pillows for a great night's sleep. It's great even to take internally to reduce anxious feelings and encourage some good sleep. I make a beautiful lavender lemonade. I also take lavender internally if I feel like I have way too much on my mind in the evening. I just put it in a capsule and take it that way. Emotionally, oil is known as the oil. Lavender is known as the oil of communication. This one helps us to speak our inner truth. And you might wonder, how does that happen? And I believe it's because as we reduce the tension in our lives and we reduce the monkey mind and we come into a state of calm, we're more able to really come into our own truth. And when we're in our own truth and we're not so worried about what people think of us, we're not so worried about making a good impression, we're not so anxious about doing the right thing or the wrong thing, we can actually be who we are. We can come into our truth and speak from our heart. This one helps us to connect to our heart and find that inner voice through a calm way rather than a combative way. This one releases tension and restriction from our past, even helping us to know that it's totally okay to be who you are. This is who you are, and embrace who you are. It encourages people to be honest with your emotions. And I picked this one to close our practice today, just to help us balance some of our inner thoughts with our outer communication and how we show up in the world. Are we showing up in the world as a person who is incredibly off balance? Are we showing up with so much tension and stress in our lives that we're chronically sick, that we're chronically in pain, that we're chronically unhappy? Or are we balanced and resilient through the stress? Can we be with pain emotionally, physically, or otherwise, and still be our truth? Are we balanced to know that, yes, there are bad things happening in the world, but I stand in my truth of who I am, and I'm compassionate, and I'm kind, and I'm light and I'm happy, and finding balance within crisis, finding balance within everyday stress. We don't suck into drama, but rather we live in harmony with all things, including pain. Take just a couple more breaths here. Beautiful. And now you will eventually make your way onto your back where we began the practice. And I hope that you have noticed the connection created by today's oils. I purposely selected these to create balance in all the systems, in our hearts, in our minds, in our spirit world, our outer world. So go ahead and get comfortable here as we come into closure. Remember the very beginning of practice, we talked about on guard. This one is designed to provide strength and protection, physically and emotionally. We moved into peppermint in our water so that we can raise our vibration into that buoyancy. We can digest new ideas. We can realize that we don't have to attach to the things that weigh us down. We do have choice. We used wild orange with the peppermint to clean us and free us from any idea of lack or limitation. When we came into our standing series, we used balance to ground us in our thinking and feeling, and therefore in our body. It was that aroma of the forest. We learned about tea tree. We put it on our pulse points, and those are very specific areas in the body that help our body to receive the oils in specific ways and beautiful ways. Our pulse points are directly linked to reflexology points, physical points in our body that can be placed in different areas. So behind the ears is a great pulse point, calming. So tea tree reminded us to have healthy boundaries and to stand up for ourselves. We moved into deep blue, which is that beautiful blend that was cooling and warming, and reminded us emotionally to just let go, to not hold on to pain. We used aroma touch. We were holding both oils, remember, in our hands. Aroma touch is that beautiful blend that helps us to relax and to create that inner and outer harmony. It had basil in it and cypress for circulation. It just got things moving. And then we closed with lavender to balance our inner thoughts, letting our bodies relax. We can come into our truth. So optimal health begins on the inside. Optimal health is taking care of ourselves, our systems, creating resiliency in the body, in our cells, by having right thought, right action, right words, and providing our bodies with what they need to protect ourselves from the things out there that can make us sick, like stress, and germs, and tension. It's been an absolute honor to share a slow practice, a deliberate practice with beautiful essential oils to create balance for optimal health. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. If there was something you'd like to learn more about related to one or some of the oils in the class today, feel free to ask. If I don't have the answer, I'll get the answer. Feel free to stay as long as you'd like on your mat, soaking in, allowing the cells to receive the gifts of plants, the gifts of a practice. I hope to see you very, very soon. Thank you so much. Namaste.